my mic sound nice. Check one. Check one. Peace, Cuzns. Show cousin Reebell, aka The Voice. And this is the reality recap. Yep. Check it out, y'all. I'm on the Braxtons season 2, episode 3. All right, this episode was crazy. When I say crazy, I mean it was. It had me clutching my pearls like every second of that intro and that ending. It was crazy, and I'm sure y'all felt the same way. And I'm gonna tell you why I'm saying that in just a minute. But in the meantime, smash that like button and subscribe with the bell so you don't miss none of my commentary on this and other reality show situations. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into this crazy episode. All right, so bust it. This episode was crazy. It starts, so it's just, I'm just gonna like, listen, this is supposed to be a recap of like the whole episode, but really, honestly, it's really nothing more to talk about except the opening and the closing scene. Let's keep it 1000. These girls, oh my God, Lord. Let's just get into it. They meeting at the restaurant. Tamar just jumps right on in, and Tamar wants to know who gave the dude her address and had her served with the cease and desist. Her sisters had her. Now, listen, here's the thing. I'm saying the sisters allegedly, but all of them are denying it. All of them are like, what? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I had nothing to do with it. I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And Tamar is just like, it's
stop the cap.
Basically, that's where she coming from. Because all of them are sitting there acting like they don't know what this is. And they got to know what it is. They know what it is. You could tell they know what it is. But she asked Towanda, Towanda's like, I don't know where you live or something like that. But she says to Towanda, well, I know where you live because I put the down payment down on your house. Now, Tamar, girl, did you have to go there? Did you really have to go there? And then, well, I guess she did have to go there. I mean, this is crazy. It is crazy. And then Tamar says to her, because you've been stealing. She says Towanda been stealing from her, stealing off her credit card, y'all, stealing off her sister's credit card. Listen, what is going on? What is going on? And then check it out. And then Towanda, I was waiting for Towanda to be like, what are you talking about? Ain't nobody steal from you, Towanda. Instead of saying that, she looks at her and says, well, what did you steal? So my first thing from that is, okay, so then Towanda, you did steal from her. You did take from her, because the deflection, when people deflect without defense, it's like you did what they said you did. So Towanda, you did steal that girl's stuff. And but then Towanda said, well, what did you steal? And Tamar's like, I didn't steal nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. And Towanda says to Tamar, you stole men. But not just any man. She's like, well, what man did I steal? Now Tamar's saying, what man did I steal, right? And then Towanda says, and you slept with them a few times. Now, here's what I want y'all to get from that situation. Towanda doesn't say you stole a man or you stole Tony's man. She said you stole Tony's man, with a plural, and said, and you slept with them. Not you slept with him. She said, Towanda said, you slept with them, meaning, and she said a few times. So she's saying that Tamar done stole and slept with Tony's man. I can't, like, the way that I couldn't believe it. I just kind of was sitting there holding my mouth, you know, heart kind of racing because I'm like, it's open season on Toni and her dudes. Like, y'all sleeping with each other dudes, like that's how you know the jealousy and the envy in this sister circle is real. But here's the thing, Tamar's reaction is really what told me everything that I needed to know, because first of all, before I say that, let me let me say this first. Like I said, Tamar's reaction, the way Tamar stood up and then smacked the glass all over the place, and then she's calling that, now she's cussing Towanda out, and you know, all of that. Y'all, I'm sorry, but I believe it because she didn't say, you know, she at first she tried to deny it, like, well, what man, what you talking about? But then when Towanda like said it, because maybe Tamar didn't think she was gonna say it. But when she said it and they bleeped out the names of the people, I was looking so close because I wanted to know who she slept with. I was like, who? Like, who? Which one? Which ones? Because it was plural. Towanda said men. So it was more than one. So you telling me that Tamar went and slept with a couple of Toni's dudes? But that's crazy. That is crazy. But she stands up stands up and smacks the glass. And then she deflected and said that one of the dudes said that they effed Towanda. I just cannot. Towanda, of course, vehemently denied it, right? But then Tamar belts out, but I swear.
Stop the cap.
Come on. What are y'all doing right now? Like, what are y'all doing right now? And then Toni, and then then she looks at Toni and said, "What you think? I F Birdman too?" I'm pretty sure she said Birdman. I mean, they were scratching out, you know, blurring out the names and blurring out their mouths and their lips. But I could have sworn she said, "What you thought I slept with Birdman too?" I think she said Birdman, but who was Trina talking about though? I'm gonna tell y'all, like, my first instinct was that it was Kerry, because I don't really know, like, you know, throughout the years, I love me some Toni, and like I said in my last video, don't get it twisted, I love me some Toni Braxton. She is everything to me. I'm Gen X. She's like the epitome of R&B class vocal, you know, diva. I'm a stan for Toni Braxton. I love me some Toni Braxton. Give it up to Toni Braxton, y'all, while we talking about it, right? That's how I feel about Toni. Don't, you know, but things are happening in this season of the Braxtons that I just have to speak, and it's all relative to just the show, because it doesn't take away from the fact that I love me some Toni Braxton. Don't play with me about Toni. But listen, Toni didn't seem shocked to me that, you know, to hear Towanda say that Tamar done mess with two of her dudes. She just put on this face that was kind of like that face. And I was like, that face kind of told me, like, you somewhere, somehow you've heard this conversation. She wasn't, you know, she didn't hear. She wasn't like, what? It wasn't none of that. It was just kind of like this face. And it was to me, the face was just like, Toni, you heard this before. Man,
you don't get out here with all that.
This face was so false to me. I just know that you have heard this before. That look on your face, it just told me that you knew what Tamar did to you, and I don't know whether Tamar knew that you knew, or if it was that level of secret, but you definitely knew that that girl was all up in your man's business. Word. The other thing that told me that makes me feel like Tamar, I believed what Towanda said about Tamar was when they showed Trina's face. Did y'all see Trina's face? Trina was like, yes, you did, girl. Yes, you did, girl. Yes, you did. Her face, Trina's face in the shot, and the way that they closed up on that face, it just told me like everything that I needed to know. And I'm feeling like, damn, Tamar, I just was caping for you in my last video, right? I was caping for, and not that I'm still not. I'm just saying, like, to hear this, I'm telling y'all, when I tell y'all, I was so, it took me by surprise to hear that. I just, I've heard things about, Tamar and other people, but I just, to hear that, and then hear it from Towanda. And I know it was true because Towanda, I feel like Towanda just doesn't like her. They don't like each other. And I felt like Towanda just couldn't wait. She just couldn't wait to get that out. And I just, and like I said, looking at Trina's face, I know that Towanda and Trina had the conversation. You can tell because it was just like, go ahead, Towanda, stick it to her. And Trina looks glad, happy than a mother that she got it stuck to her. Tamar got it stuck to her. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. I'm telling you, this is, I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say because it is just, it's a lot, y'all. It's a lot to hear this. And then, to have Toni just sitting there, with her mouth hanging open. But again, it just goes to show you that these sisters are they have a lot of issues. And I'm gonna include the end of the scene because they kind of opened and closed with the same. The end was kind of a full recap of, how they started the season off, with Tamar confronting them about, the cease and desist thing. But there's a couple of things that I got from this scene, the whole scene, just the beginning and the ending put together. The first thing is that with the entrance, it kind of showed you the levels of their levels. Towanda came walking in, looked like she had parked her own car and kind of walked from the parking lot, right? And then Trina came in, looked like she valeted her own truck, right? Which is cool, that's okay. Looked like she valeted and stuff. And then Tamar looked like she came in an Uber, but you know what? The top of the line Uber, like the black XL or whatever, something like that. Whatever the top of the line Uber situation is, like Tamar came in that, but then Toni came in the show. It looked like a chauffeured like SUV situation, like it was like levels to the situation as they were entering. And then something else I noticed is that Tamar, each one of them came in, they were coming in, kind of joining. But I noticed that when Tamar came in, because they showed her third, it looked like she waited for Toni to come and didn't want to join Trina and Towanda at the time. Did y'all notice that? Did y'all notice that Tamar came in with Toni and instead of like coming in when they showed her walking in? Because she didn't walk in, she didn't come in, she didn't arrive with Toni. Well, the editing didn't show that Toni and Tamar arrived together, but what it showed was that they walked in the room together, which told me that Tamar did not want to be in the same room with Towanda and Trina. Yeah. So that was interesting. I thought that was interesting. And then once they all sat down, there was this awkward moment, where they all just kind of was sitting there looking at each other, bracing for what Tamar was going to say, bracing for that Tamar storm. It was They was all looking at each other like, what she gonna say? What Tamar gonna say? Who she gonna blow up? I felt it. It looked so cringy. It was kind of cringy. But I was really honestly going back to that thing about the, when Towanda said that Tamar slept with a couple of Tony's dudes. I was really trying to figure out who they were talking about. And like I said, Carrie is the only person who came to my mind. Now I'm a stand for Toni Braxton, but I followed some of her coming up back in the day. I had heard of some of the, people that she, was like, seeing, dating, that kind of thing. But, back in our day, it wasn't like it is today where people had eyes on you all the damn time, cameras on you all the time, could see you sliding in and out of places with dudes and chicks. And, you could hide stuff back in the day. You can't really hide nothing today. So that's the difference. I couldn't, I don't really know of all of Toni's situations, but I did know everybody knows who likes, who knows Toni Braxton knows that she was married to Carrie. And that's the one that I'm thinking, I don't know, child. I wasn't there, allegedly, all that stuff, but I just wanted to know so bad who Trina was talking about. I was like, that is crazy. But like I said, I do believe it. I hate to say it, but I believe it because, like I said, Tamar's reaction, the way she stood up, slapped that glass over at Trina, kind of fake slapped it. Because really, if you wanted to hit Trina with a glass of water, I feel like if you was really that mad, you would have like picked it up and really like hit her with it or threw it at her or something. But she kind of slapped the glass across the table, and I felt like that was a strong reaction. If you didn't do something, you kind of gonna just be like, "What are you, girl? What are you talking about? What?" And it would be so ridiculous. Like if somebody accused me of sleeping with my sister's man, it would be so ridiculous that I wouldn't even. You couldn't even get a rise out of me for that. It would be like laughable because it's so far as far as something I would do. My character, the way that we, deal with each other, we don't do that, right? So the way that Tamar stood up and was slapping glasses around and cussing and carrying on, I've deflected and tried to say that, oh, the dude said that he effed Towanda. Girl, I was like, Tamar, now girl. And then, like I said, the last thing that made me believe it was when they showed Trina's face. When they showed Trina's face, I was like, yeah, look at that face. Look at that face, y'all. That face will tell you everything that you needed to know. And she seemed so happy that Towanda dropped it like it was hot. I'm just saying. The other thing, like I said, I noticed Toni just didn't seem surprised. This just was not tea to her. She pretended like it was with that fake, the fake gas. This fake, oh my God, what? But, in fact, Toni kept putting her hands up to stop the producers from stopping the scene. And I feel like if this was some brand new stuff, Toni's private. She'll get down to some extent for the show, for the sake of the show, but she ain't gonna like really spill the beans and go crazy about her business. So the fact that the producers were trying to stop this stuff, like, okay, y'all going too far. And then Toni was putting up her hand like, nah, we good. That told me too. Anyway, it made me think that Toni also knew about it or had heard it from somewhere, from Towanda, from Trina. She heard it before. The other takeaway from these two scenes, the beginning and the end, is that the jealousy in this family runs really, 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 really deep. Really deep. Only a person who is super duper jealous, crazy jealous of you. It's envy. It's not even jealousy. It's envy. Envy is that, I think, I got to look both of those up, but I think envy is where it's just eating you alive that somebody has something above you or better than you, or in your mind that you perceive as better than you, or something that you cannot attain, and you would just do anything to hurt them. I think envy is when you want to hurt somebody or make them feel bad about something that they have. And I feel like only a jealous person would do this to their own sister, like would sleep with your sister. Only somebody who is envious, because envious is a whole nother level. And it's just disgusting. I feel like they need counseling, they need healing, they need Jesus. They need Jesus. Because sleeping with your sister's man is downright disgusting. You know what I'm saying? It's disgusting. It's disgraceful. It's deplorable. It's despicable. It's low down. It's vile. It's just all of the above. Like you just straight up just it's awful. Get help, y'all. They need help. They need help for real. And this is back in the day, right? This is like probably back in the day. I'm assuming, right? I'm assuming. But if you think about it, this jealousy, this envy, this all of this stuff is, you could have seen this. I don't, like I said, from the time that they have been on television, you could see that this stuff was brewing. It was in them all the way. Trina and Towanda seemed like they were jealous of Tamar, especially when Tamar got with Vince, and she had all that money, and she had she got with Epic, and she got her record deal, and she was selling them records, and she was doing, she was just doing really good. And I feel like Tamar is jealous of Toni because of Toni's success, and then Toni might have been started to be jealous of Tamar after Tamar started getting her success with, her singing and her little accolades and all of this stuff. I feel like they need Iyanla, like an Iyanla do-over, but you got to add Jesus to the mix with that. Have Iyanla and Jesus just do the episode together, because child, child, I'm just saying, they this is it's on another level. It's another level of, I don't know. It's like, can you get it back to where it was when you go this far with each other? Like it's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? So here's the thing though, like my last video, I was saying I was caping for Tamar, and then in this episode, I was just like, oh brother, I just cape for this girl. Now I'm hearing this, even though this stuff is probably old, but like I said, I do believe it. Allegedly, I wasn't there. I'm just saying this is what I believe. But there was a point that Tamar had where I was able to side with her in this episode. Tamar came into the situation wanting answers and, feeling a way when she said her sisters, they were in a group chat, and she sent the group, a message in the group chat asking about the cease and desist, and nobody responded. Like nobody responded. Nobody said nothing. See, that's how these heifers was down there. They was with it. I don't care. They could all pretend I didn't know. I wasn't there. Yeah, I got your back. Y'all could all do that all y'all want, but all of y'all has something to do with this. I'm telling you, because why wouldn't anybody answer? And I don't blame Tamar. Tamar said, am I the only one that thinks a cease and desist is a big deal? No. You're not the only one. I think that's, if I received a cease and desist from my family, from my sisters, my whoever, yes, it is a big deal. And somebody gonna have to give me some answer. Somebody have to answer to that. Somebody gonna have to answer to that. And the fact that she received it from her sisters, it is horrible. I agree with her. And they don't want to talk about it. They're evading it. They're acting like it doesn't exist. Nobody knows nothing about it. And it's just like when you look at them and you hear them telling her this, it's just like,
Stop the cab.
Come on, y'all. Please.
Stop the cab.
They look at her in the eye, all denying it. And my thing, I would press each one of them like, yeah, you saying you didn't have nothing to do with it, but did you know about it? Did you know about it? And but the crazy thing, even with that, is that they all sitting up there talking about, I didn't know nothing about it. I don't know what you're talking about.
Man, you don't get out here with all that.
I don't believe it. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. They all denying it, but I just don't believe it. So, like I said, the main takeaway from this episode was really the beginning and the how it started off with the blaming of Tamar, blaming Towanda of, stealing from her. stealing from her. That's crazy, right? And then her blaming Towanda blaming Tamar for sleeping with some of Tony's. I'm telling you, I hate to just keep saying it, but it was such a shock to me to hear that. But yeah, so that was the main like situation of this episode. And I'm sure that's the part that everybody's going to be talking about. But there were other scenes, just real quick, in other parts of the show. Toni was preparing for the Jazz Fest, and now this is what I signed up for: watching Toni, dancing in the studio, at rehearsals, getting ready for some kind of show, doing something like that. Because this is what I wanted to see, but this is turning out to be something completely different than what I thought this season was going to be. But while I'm watching them do that, I'm just watching the girl. She's dancing. She got Toni popping and squatting and shaking and twerking, and I'm just like, come on, girl, stop. Girl, stop. It's Toni Braxton, and you're doing way too much. I mean, hopefully in the dancers' defense, hopefully this was just for the scene, and this is the moves. These are the moves that her dancers are gonna do, because this is too much for Toni. Now you can't be wearing her out now. Don't be wearing Toni out, child. Don't play with Toni like that. Also Tamar, just sidebar. Somewhere in the episode, Tamar said she's in her healing era. Bless her little heart, child. But you know what? Keep healing, Tamar. I feel you, but girl, keep. I don't really see it the way you said it, but you going to keep on healing, child. Go on, keep on healing. And then Vaughn, Trina's husband, has congestive heart failure. It was hard to watch that. It was hard to hear that. I felt really bad for him. And so Trina's now made it a thing. She's going to try to help him to get himself together, because he said the doctors told him he has 90 days to gather, through diet, exercise, lack of stress, those things, those environmental things that make you that contribute, to heart disease and high blood pressure and things like that. He has 90 days to get it together. So Trina's helping him with this, and she's helping by saying that she's going to clear out the pantry. But funny thing, as she's saying this, she's like, I'm throwing away this and I'm throwing away that and I'm throwing away your apple fritter. He said, what? You will not throw away my apple fritter or whatever the apple delight thing that he is like loving. And he said there's no way he's going to give that up. And my thing is, let the man have his little apple fritter. Because here's the thing. I know you have to change, and but you don't have to shock him into it. My thing is, every now and then, let him have the damn apple fritter. I don't think the apple fritter is going to be the thing that would cause him to go into any kind of situation. It sounds like it's like it's like heart related. It's not diabetes. I didn't hear anything about diabetes type 2, anything like that. So every now and then, let him have a treat. I do feel like you should go into the pantry and revamp. I do agree with that. I would definitely do that myself. But instead of like making him feel like you're depriving him of everything, just, leave a couple of things here and there, and then get in the kitchen and then make him healthy versions of the foods that he likes to eat, whatever his favorite meals are. Just try to make healthy versions of that. It's not easy. When you hear that type of news and you don't know really how to attack or approach nutrition from that standpoint, you just usually get medication. But when you have to attack it from that standpoint as well, there's a strategy to it that you can take that doesn't entail a person being completely deprived of every single thing, everything, unless it's like dire situation, which I don't know. I mean, it is dire. It is important because it is, heart health and everything, but he doesn't look like he's like on his last, situation or anything like that. So I applaud Trina for, checking up and wanting to help her husband. I feel like it's a dual effort. Like Trina can't be on one thing and then her husband's on another. Like you can't be munching and crunching all in his face, leaving all this stuff in the pantry. And then you got him eating celery sticks and carrots. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't work like that. So it has to be, I feel like it has to be a dual effort. Whatever he's going to give up, you give it up to Trina, and y'all just work out, walk together, do what you need to do to get him back, to help him get himself back together so that, he doesn't have to get that surgery. And so then now this is the part, these scenes with Miss Evelyn in the hospital. It was good to see the sisters come together when Miss Evelyn had the heart situation, but it was really tough to watch. The way that they edited the scenes, it was a little disturbing to me. Now I don't want to use the picture that was disturbing to me, because I don't want to talk about Miss Evelyn and this is their mom. I want to be sensitive to this, but I just hated the way that they edited the thing. They had her rolling out. She looked like she had, I hate to say it, looked like she had passed away. It just looked, I just hated the way that it was edited. And it was hard for me to watch. It was triggering because I lost my mom. And so when I saw the scenes, I was just like, y'all did not have to do that. Y'all didn't have to roll her in like that. Y'all didn't have to have her. I didn't like it. I just didn't like it. But what I did appreciate is seeing the girls come together, for their mom. I hate that she hid all of this stuff from them. I'm glad that Logan was able to let Tamar know, and then Tamar let the other sisters know, and everybody was able to come together. And I don't know, one thing that did come to my mind though, as a person who doesn't have, who lost my mom, I felt like I just had a thought, and I just said it's really gonna break them when they come to, when they have to cross that bridge, when Miss Evelyn goes on to Glory Child. It's going to be really hard for them. And I hate it for all of them. I hate it for anybody. I went through it. It was one of the most difficult things that I've ever had to deal with. I suffered. That's a whole nother video. I'll talk about that. But when I saw Miss Evelyn and I hear her talking about this stuff, and she has even more blockages that they have to address. And then I hear the way that they call her mommy, it's like they're little girls when it comes to them. And I think that's beautiful. But I just feel, just a little kind of sad for them, for when they do eventually have to cross that bridge. I just feel like it's just going to break them so bad. And I just don't wish that on them or anybody else. But it was good. Again, I was glad to see them all come together, visiting her at the house, having a good laugh. She looks healthy. She looked like, she got it back together and everything. And I hope that she continues to be healthy. I hope that they get to address that other blockage and handle that. And that she just, just continues to live a long, healthy life, and that they, she's able to gather them and get them all together. You know what I'm saying? So that was pretty much the episode. It's not, I don't want to go too much into anything else. The big takeaway from the episode was definitely just the revelation of the situation with Tamar and Toni. And also the revelation, I ain't gonna front that Towanda been stealing off of Tamar's credit card. What is going on with these girls? So, all right, y'all. That's all. So jump down in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. What man of Toni's did Tamar allegedly sleep with, according to Towanda? And do you believe it? Do you believe Tamar when she said one of them slept with Towanda? Was Miss E wrong for not telling her daughters about her health situation? Should she have let the cat out the bag? Did Towanda really steal from Tamar? Like, child, I'm sitting here clutching my pearls, child. And do these sisters need Jesus? Simple. Do these sisters need Jesus, child? That's all I want to know. Let's talk about it down in the comments. So again, it's your cousin. Hold on. Yeah, that's all. That's all I'm gonna say. So yeah, it's your cousin Reebell, aka the Voice Cousin. Smash that like button. Go ahead and subscribe. Let's do this again. And thank y'all for joining. Peace, peace.